All right, you guys, this is a little bit more of a relaxing podcast, not the usual crazy undercity chaos or flick dicks that normally we get into throughout the week. This is a little bit of a different story. This all started with my dad coming to me telling me that our cousin wanted to come down and find out about our family tree and where we come from and the, I guess, rich history of the Bogarin family. So I went ahead and told my dad, instead of going down the route of bringing her down if she can't because she's all the way from Arizona, why don't we just do a little podcast? So I decided to play something that's at least dear to my dad and, of course, my cousin Fernando. They kind of grew up with Santana, so I was like, what song do you want to choose? And kind of went through some, and I was like, one sounds really good, we should do that. And they're like, no, it just doesn't sound right. So I went ahead and went with Samba Pati, even though it's I-T.
No, T-I.
T-I? Oh, well, this one says it. I didn't write that, though. It says it at the top. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to turn it on down and introduce my dad. Hello, Dad. This is... Wait, what are you officially? Because technically your name's not your name.
What do you mean technically my name's not?
You're Noe Palacio Bogarin, but on your birth certificate...
On my birth certificate, I didn't know that officially my name is Jose Noe Bogarin. But everybody calls me Noe, and I've been known as Noe for a long time.
So are you technically Jose?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome when you find out
when we
years
get married,
later.
Yeah.
It's okay. I found out that I was left-handed when I was born.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till
just recently.
Just recently, probably two weeks to a month.
Yeah.
Give or take. But we're here.
And so did I, because I wasn't aware of that until you found out.
Yeah, I tried to blame my dad. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't you guys tell me? He's like, I didn't know. It's your mom. And it ended up, it was my mom. And my mom explained later on that it was common practice that if you were left-handed that you were supposed to be taught with your right.
Yeah, there's been quite a few of my family members that were left-handed, and actually our elderly would have them switch from eating with their left hand to eating with their right hand.
Nah, I never even knew that, which is kind of a disappointment because I thought I could have been a really good left-handed baseball player. But but anyways, back into it. So what family member came to you and asked you about this whole thing?
Her name is Christina, and she actually lives in Camarillo. That's north of us, near Oxnard.
Okay.
Not necessarily in Arizona.
So she's like, what, 2 hours away, give or take?
About an hour and a half or so, yeah.
And I might add, before we continue, my dad actually went to college originally to be a radio host.
Yeah.
A DJ.
Well, back then it was, DJ. And,
disc jockey.
Yeah,
you didn't say DJ. You had to be professional about it. Disc jockey.
Yeah, back then we were called disc jockeys. But anyway, I was in a class at Los Angeles City College, and the teacher at the time that was teaching the class basically wanted to weed out all of the students, and basically told us that we probably wouldn't get a job anywhere near Los Angeles or Hollywood for that matter, but that we would probably end up somewhere in Rancho Cucamonga. And so I looked up Rancho Cucamonga, and when I was 18 years old, I was like, damn, that's a long ways. There's no way I'm going to live in the boondocks, so.
Did you ever think that you would see the day where, basically personal, not personal, what am I trying to say? Technology would take you to the point where you could basically do your own radio station in your own house. Did you ever think you would see that day?
Oh, no, never. Never in my wildest dreams. I mean, technology today has evolved. It's just amazing to me. I'm just using cell phones, to write to someone else across the globe. Just amazes me.
I was actually talking about it previously. I go, do you remember the days where like you had to call somebody's house and be like scared shitless that like the dad would answer? You'd be like, please just let her answer. She knows I'm calling at 5 p.m. The dad would answer. And he'd always give you the third degree just because he could, because it's his house phone. And we were joking about that. And it's almost as we believe that the chivalry is now dead because you have cell phones, because you could just contact them directly and avoid the whole dad and pre-screening.
Yeah, and we grew up with one phone, so if any of us wanted to talk to our friends or girlfriends, for that matter,
you had to hurry up because there was no call waiting.
We had to wait in line, and we'd end up going to the corner and calling from a phone booth.
Payphone. Oh my, yeah. On Undercity Chaos this past week, he had to explain to his daughter what a payphone was because she didn't know, and she's like 9. She's like, "What's a payphone?" They're like, well, it's where you put quarters in and you make a phone call. And they're like, well, you guys didn't have cell phones? And we're like, no, we didn't have any of that.
Exactly.
So it was funny. But you are, if it's okay to put it out there, can we say your age, Dad? Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm 53 years old, and I'm the youngest of 7 children born to Jose Bogarin and Maurilia Palacios.
And you said that you're actually not from America originally.
No, actually I'm from a small town of Santa Teresa, Jalisco, municipio de Tequila, Jalisco, which is basically we're a kind of like a district outside of Tequila where they make the fine vino from Mexico.
Well, yeah,
the agave vino.
I always get asked, how do you say in Spanish, like, where are you from? How do you say that in Espanol?
Tequila.
No, I meant literally, like, translated. Where are you from? How do you say that in Espanol?
Yo soy de Tequila.
No, not like that, Dad. I meant, like literally, like...
I am from Mexico, like that?
No, like, where are you from? Like, specifically those words. Where are you from? How do you say it? Because I always get asked that.
Oh.
And they ask me in Spanish, and I guess I'm like, what? And they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from here. They're like, no, your parents, where are they from? I was like, oh. So they always ask me in Spanish that, and it's a very common practice.
In Spanish, they would ask you, ¿de dónde es usted? Or ¿de dónde eres tú?
Yeah, so they always ask me that, and I'm like, and they know, like, I'm from here, but they want to know where your parents are from, and I'm always like, I think it's Jalisco, or it might be Tequila, and they're like, oh, Tequila, Mexico, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't understand anything you're saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's basically a municipality. It's like living in Lakewood, but you go to New York and they ask you, where are you from? And you say, I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from L.A.
Oh, okay.
You don't say I'm from Lakewood.
Yeah, because they're like, where the hell's Lakewood?
Where's Buena Park? No one's going to know where it's Buena Park.
Yeah, you have to say Orange County or something.
Or Anaheim. They might know that's where
Disneyland.
Disneyland's at. But other than that, so it's just a small little town outside of the other little town. So
we're gonna attempt to break down the family tree here. The reason I say that is because my grandmother, we call her Ama, because my dad and they used to call their mom Ama, and it just carried on generation to generation. She always said something that kind of scared the crap out of us. She always used to say, like, be careful who you date or who you're with. Why did she always tell us that?
Oh, she was always adamant about us making sure that we got a last name, depending on who the person was, I guess. But most of the time it was because initially the family that came to the United States was rather small, but now we've grown so much and the names have changed, yeah, because there's a lot of boys in the Bogarins, but there's also a lot of girls. And so she wanted to make sure that we weren't dating our own blood.
Scares the crap out of you if you really think about it. You're like, I could be dating my own blood. That's why I try to stay in Orange County, because there's nothing but white people. No, I'm joking. So let's start from the very, very beginning. Do you remember being born? No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
you.
actually,
Oh,
someone was
shut
waiting
up!
for me.
No. What is not? What is the first memory you have? Like you said, you weren't from America. What is the first memory you have from being in Mexico? Your youngest memory?
Youngest memory is probably
Tormenting the animals on the farm.
no, not that. But actually, I think the first memory I remember. We weren't actually living in. Actually, we were on a bus. We were on a bus coming north to Tijuana, because my dad used to come over during the Eisenhower and Kennedy administration. He would come on a contract that the United States had with Mexico. So he was contracted to come and pick fruit, vegetables, and whatnot in the San Joaquin Valley. He also picked cotton in Glendale, Arizona. So he would come on a contract. And whenever he was in California, we had an uncle that lived in Tijuana that had another like little home, kind of like little shack.
Now,
So
before
we
you
were on a bus.
before you continue that story, you said that one point a couple of years back that the Emma, that's obviously one of my dad's sisters, my aunt, they went to Mexico and they took a ma and they ran into some guy and going, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be back home." And they thought it was my apa, but it ended up being his brother because they were in Tijuana, correct?
Oh, yeah, that's another story. That's another story, yeah.
But back to you, you
so
took the bus up to there.
We took the bus. We were coming to Tijuana. I must have been about 4. And I remember my mom and I being on the bus. I don't remember my sisters.
Yeah,
we're on the bus.
Yeah, 2 sisters.
Yeah, I had, well, at the time, 2 sisters that were way deep in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my sisters, but I remember my mom. I guess she dozed off to sleep, and her head was like literally like her neck was like arched back, and her mouth was wide open.
Oh gosh!
And there was a fly flying
gosh.
around, and I
this is already going down a bad
up.
route.
I woke her up and I told her, Mom. She finally woke up. What's going on? Close your mouth. There's a fly flying around, and it went inside your mouth and came out. And she literally, like, grossed out. Second memory is me waking up in the morning in Mexico, deep in Mexico, and in Tequila, Jalisco. And my dad having a few head of cattle, and him waking me up about, I'd say, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And he would get my sarape and put it on me to keep warm. And he would have me keep my hands inside my sarape to warm up. And he would bring out a little stool. He would get a rope and tie the hind legs of the cows, and I would milk cows with him. So that was my earliest childhood.
So does milk taste weird now? Because that obviously that wasn't like. Did you guys even like boil it or like anything?
Oh
or?
No, it comes out boiled. It comes out like steaming
already
hot.
warm. Yeah.
I guess
especially
like
since oh gosh, and it was that early in the morning too, because obviously you had to wear the like.
It was real. Yeah. We had to get up and we would milk the cows, and he would always make sure that I drank the first jarro, which is a small clay cup of milk, and that milk is so thick, it's got a real thick.
It's almost like
layer
cheese
at the very top.
Yeah, which is what you guys made stinky cheese out of, technically, isn't it?
And you have to drink it really quick, otherwise it's like drinking cheese.
So why would he make you do it?
Because I had to drink it real quick. I was scrawny, so he wanted me to gain weight, I guess.
He's like, this will give him more cheese in there.
Exactly.
So from there, you actually recall which would be my great grandpa while you were in Mexico.
Which one on my dad's side or on my mom's
I
side?
don't know, the one that was blind, and apparently you made pee by the side of the road while people were saying hi.
Oh, yeah, that's another story. I was about 7, I guess, and he was blind, didn't see, and he lost his vision actually gradually from injuries to his eyes. But he was blind. That's my dad. My mom's dad, his name is Andres Palacios, which basically means Andrew. And Christina, my nephew Andrew, I believe was named after my grandfather, Andres Palacios. Anyhow, yeah, he was pretty dark. I could swear he was black.
But you didn't really know back then.
I didn't know, I didn't know the difference. I just know that he had thick lips, was dark as the night. Reminds me of Ratt Haus now when I look at that picture. But I remember taking him everywhere to the store to go use the restroom, which was basically out in the woods. And I remember one time he needed to use the restroom, and I was too scared, and it wasn't dark yet. So I just took him like right around the corner from our house. And he just like was peeing right there, and people were going by.
You're like, he can't tell the difference. He can't see.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's not going to harm him. He's just peeing, I was a little kid, I was like, anyhow, yeah, we kind of took, I guess, things for granted,
You're just lucky there wasn't an electrical fence he was peeing on.
Oh, no, there was, I don't think, there was no fences at all.
I was going to say.
There was no electricity where we lived. There was no electricity, no running water. We had to...
Yeah, the water well.
No, yeah, we had a water well, and we had to pail the water out and then carry it home.
Oh, so you didn't even get like a crank or anything. You had to drop it down in there? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was... I mean, when you think about it, we lived in primitive times, even though it was like the 1960s, Mm-hmm. I was born in 59, so it was the 60s, early 60s when I was growing up over there. But we didn't have a stove. We didn't have butane. We had kerosene lamps. And we had an oven that was made out of clay.
So did you have to do wood and warm it up?
Yeah, we had to go into the woods and get our own wood, and bring it, and then we put it below the mud made oven and fire up the wood, and then there was a sheet, like a comal. You know what a comal is, right?
Of course. One of the Spanish words I know is a comal.
Basically, it's
what
is that, a grill? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know any other way to say it than comal.
A piece of sheet metal.
Yeah, basically.
to warm up
your tortillas.
The tortillas and our food.
Yeah, I have no idea what else to call a comal, but I think that's one of the few words that I do know in Spanish that I can't translate in English, which my dad taught me, and of course George Lopez also taught me. When you translate certain things from English to Spanish or Spanish to English, like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like watch out, they'll look back at you like, the fuck? What? I don't understand. And then awaz is like basically to us, watch out. And like if you yell somebody water, they're gonna be like, what? What about water?
Yeah,
like it doesn't. What does it matter? But so to start off the family tree, we have a great grandpa, which was on whose side? Dad's or mom's?
The one I just mentioned was my mom's. His name was Andres Palacios, and then her mom, her name was Adalberta Davalos.
So that's both on Ma's side. What's Ma's real name again?
Maurilia.
I've never
Palacios.
I've never known Ama's name.
Yeah, Maurilia.
And then we have Apa's side.
Apa's side is Francisco Bogarin and Maria Murillo.
So let's go ahead and we're going to get into the belly of the beast, just the tip of the iceberg right now. Unfortunately, my dad does have a busy schedule, so do I. So we're going to try and break down this little wall right now because I've heard apparently like 2 or 3 different stories on this. So I'm going to take my dad's take on it, and I'll let him say it. Apparently, my grandpa, Apa, kidnapped my grandmother, which is Ama. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that. So you've heard what, 2 or 3 different versions of it?
Yeah, depending on who I speak to.
Yeah,
if I speak to my sister or my mom or even my dad, he used to give me a different version of it.
And your mom's sister as well. She said a different story too.
Yeah.
So I want your honest to God opinion, since you have so many different ones. What do you think the truth is?
I think the truth is my mom was probably flirting with my dad, even though she probably had a boyfriend. But her boyfriend supposedly was in another city, like far, far from the town where she lived.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Guadalajara. Anyhow, so
what city did they meet in?
They met in a town, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was called Cinco Minas, which means 5 mines. There was a lot of opal mines where people went and they used to, basically blow up the side of the hill and they were prospecting for
gold,
basically for opal.
What is that?
Opal is it's a stone.
It's kind of like the turquoise stuff.
It's similar to turquoise. It's more it looks more like water. Like when you look at like that green crystalline blue and green.
Is it
water.
like the gem stuff that like mom used to buy?
Yeah, something similar to those.
So it's kind of like a gemstone. When you crack it open, you have the purple, the blue, and then in the center you have it like crystallized and whatnot. Yeah. So it's something similar to that.
Yeah. So it's called Cinco Minas and it means 5 mines. That was the town, and so basically my mom gives me one version, and my dad gave me another version, and my sisters gave me another version. So I think they were flirting with each other. And in those days in Mexico, if you liked someone and they were flirting with you, you basically had the right to take them from the family. And there was nothing the brothers or sisters can do. Once you take someone, it was almost taboo to bring that person back. And most of the families would not accept that woman back into their household. So you basically had to live with each other. So my dad was 16 and my mom was 15 when
really? And this is why and this is why still to this day we're like, why are our 15-year-olds getting pregnant? Oh wait, it's because it's embedded in our freaking genes. That is why it happens. At least some of us wait till 18, but like I was actually told, and this is very true, physically on the body, at that age, it is the perfect time to bear children. There are a lot less complications, a lot less difficulties, but mentally, you're not ready to have kids.
No.
But then older on, mentally, you're ready to have kids, but there's more complications and more things, the more technical difficulties and whatnot. By the way, you guys, if you hear an echo, it's because we're recording this in our dining room right now. Just a heads up. If you're like, why the hell is there an echo? Why does it sound like they're in a hall? It's because technically we are. So from there, I didn't even know, 15 and 16.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just, all right, let's have way. We're gonna go. Did they plan on anything? Was it like, well, I have a house or I have this, or was it like we're gonna go sit on a land and figure it out from there?
Yeah, basically,
wow.
It was like a spur of the moment kind of thing,
That takes balls. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that now. At 15, let alone, like, I'd be like, yeah, let's go get married. Like, I'm still not married. I'm 24.
Well, you know what's ironic is that they took my mom's relatives, brothers and sisters, and my grandfather and my grandmother agreed to take my mom away from the town where they lived because there was somebody else that wanted to take her. So they took her to another town, and it just so happens my dad was working the mines when he noticed my mom. And supposedly my dad had a hat that had a feather on it, and they were spreading rumors that there's a young nice looking man that wants to take a chicken, which is a chick. So basically a wolf.
Oh gosh.
There's
a wolf prowling for
picking a chick.
Oh gosh.
So no, they basically told my mom that that there's some guy that has a hat that has a feather on it. He's looking for you. He wants to take you. And she says, "Well, you know what? I'm like a bullfighter." She's tell him I'm like a bullfighter. I've dodged a lot of bulls, and so far, the bull has never
hit me.
Has never gotten to me. And so my dad heard about this, and they
it was like a personal challenge.
So they were like kind of sending message through people, young kids at the time.
Yeah,
but I mean, back then, I mean, you were 13 in Mexico. They give you a gun at 12, kind of like the old West, you know.
Here, you need this. It's bigger than me. We know. But you'll grow. Was it like when you guys used to buy me shoes? You'll grow into it. Exactly. We'll buy it too. To this day, I wear. I like wearing shoes that are like 2 or 3 sizes bigger than my feet, because you guys always used to buy me shoes, and you like how much room. And my parents used to buy like a whole size bigger than what I was, because then I would grow into it, and then next year or whatever time it would take to buy the shoes, I had already grown into those.
Well, it wasn't 2 or 3 sizes. It was more like...
No, it was one size. It was like a half a size or one size.
Yeah.
But still, and now because of that comfort, I like wearing shoes that are actually big. So like when I wear shoes that are like to the point my size, it feels weird.
No, I just buy shoes that fit me now.
Yeah, see, it feels uncomfortable to me.
All right.
But back into it.
They ended up. There was rumors being spread because they would tell him something. She would supposedly send a message with someone to tell him something, and it was a back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the way I see it, they were both flirting with each other. And if you look at pictures of my dad when he was young, he was a nice looking man. I mean, I'm not gay or anything, but I would have dated him. And my mom was, she was like the prettiest girl in town. I mean, if you look at pictures of her and my dad when they first got married, she was like, wow. She was a looker.
I haven't, but because of my grandmother, I do. She has the most beautiful flowing silver and gray hair I've ever seen. And I believe also because of my grandmother babysitting me when I was a young age, I like curly hair, and I didn't realize where I got it from, where this idea of like curly hair is extremely beautiful, where it came from. And then it finally snapped recently that it was Ama. Yes. It was Ama's curly hair. So to this day, like I still envision in my head like beauty is eventually silver flowing hair and it curly for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then it finally clicked that it was Ama. It was me being babysitted by Ama. So as much as I gave him a hard time when I was a young kid, we'll get into that a lot later. But unfortunately, my dad has run out of time. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna put a pin in it right now. This is where the two lovers meet. And we're going to get into how it eventually runs into 7 children. Unfortunately, a huge tragedy in our family. But from there, it gives us one of the most, I wouldn't say beautiful.
Amazing?
I wouldn't say amazing either. One of the most hardworking, but probably craziest member of our family, and I kind of want to pull them onto the show when we go ahead and we get into that, but we'll see if we can or if we can't. Any last things before we go ahead and sign on off right now? So they're sending each other messages, they're flirting, they're talking. What was the next step after that?
The next step after that?
Did he just come in a horse and be like, dude, we're going?
No, the next step after they were flirting is that they moved my mom supposedly to a secret hideout.
All right. No, we're putting a pin in that right there. We're going to go ahead. We're going to wait on that, you guys. This is the family tree. Hey, if you're interested, you are. If you're not, you're not. This is to record and document what exactly happened to her family, because I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Thank the Lord for she's my cousin, right?
Yeah.
Thank the Lord for my cousin that she went ahead and she asked. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down the MTR, my real name, Matthew David Bogarin, the family tree, which I come from, as well as my dad, who is apparently not my dad. Noe/Jose, whoever the hell you are at this point. We're going to go ahead. We're going to put a pin in it. Go ahead and tune in next time so you could hear what happened with the hideout, apparently. You guys have a great week. Go ahead and say bye, Dad.
Goodbye, and looking forward to talking to you guys.